Welcome, everyone, to the Saturday Night Live edition of the Weezer Wednesday podcast show. Thanks for joining us. I have Stephanie with me,
Hey guys.
and Michael is out of action tonight. Katie is not feeling good, so maybe they'll join us later for a little cameo, and if not, then we hope Katie gets to feeling better. But we have some fans that will be joining us tonight, and there's a lot to talk about, a lot of stuff that's been going on. Social media, some shows that have been performed. So let's get into it. I know Stephanie's got some things that she wants to get into, so let's get into it.
Well, I'd like to say this is rumor, but it's taken on a whole new life of itself. Talking about the Weezer Nirvana mashup. One of the fans, Amanda, had posted a picture of Weezer and Nirvana, or actually it was a picture of Nirvana with the Weezer's face, the guys from Weezer's, their face in there, and Rivers retweeted that, and a couple of media outlets have picked it up, and there's some stories going on now, and it's funny because it coincides with, I don't know, Keith, if you've seen this, his daughter did I think it was Rolling Stone, she did an interview with them and was talking about the new documentary that's coming out about Kurt Cobain. So this all kind of coincides about the same time. So I don't know if Rivers played on that a little bit. I don't know, but so it's kind of funny to see the media outlets, their take on it.
Yeah, it's really funny. I didn't get to read a lot of Francis Bean Cobain's interview, but yeah, it was definitely funny. I did read some of the interviews that were commenting on Rivers doing the pictures of the band with their faces superimposed on the guys from Nirvana, and his profile picture on Twitter as well. It's funny, something that small, and it really blew up. It was everywhere for a few days. Every time I got on Facebook, I saw another music or news outlet that was doing a story on it. So, obviously, Rivers being a big Nirvana fan, I'm sure that helped the cause as well. Something that I did find interesting, and I don't know if you saw this, Steph, but in the interview that Frances Bean Cobain did, she had made the comment that she was not a big fan of Nirvana's music.
Yeah, I read the interview, and actually, I'm kind of almost embarrassed to admit this, but I do check out the gossip, websites and stuff, TMZ and Radar Online. I mean, I hate to admit that, but I do, and TMZ.
Now you're a gossip expert. I like it.
I need to have my own gossip section on the show, but so TMZ took what she said in her interview, and they spun it this completely other way, saying that she hated Nirvana, she was pissed off at her dad, and took it this whole other way. That if you read the whole article completely, you would get what she was saying.
Right. Yeah.
Of course, I'm sure, and she said that there were some songs that she really loved, but that may not be her. I mean, she didn't grow up, in that.
Right.
In that music, that wasn't, she wasn't a, middle schooler or high schooler when they came out. So, I mean, I understand that. But to hear, if you see the TMZ article, she just hates Nirvana and she hates her dad and all this stuff. So that was interesting.
I haven't, obviously, I haven't gotten to see the documentary yet. I think it's Kurt Cobain montage of Heck.
Yeah, and it comes out. I want to say in the end of this month, but it debuts at Showtime or HBO or something like that. So definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, definitely check that out. Something else that I thought was weird, I had watched some reviews from when it was at, I believe it was at Sundance, and Dave Grohl is not in it at all, was not contacted to be a part of the documentary at all, which, if you followed the Dave Grohl and Courtney Love, battling back and forth for years, obviously you get that. Obviously Chris Novoselic is in it quite a bit, but I thought that was interesting that Dave Grohl was not in the documentary at all. So
that is very interesting, and I wonder if maybe that was by his choice, or you said they didn't contact him
Yeah, from
at
from
all?
what I remember, the interviews from, and I'm trying to remember the guy that did the documentary, but yeah, he doesn't really allude to the fact of whether that was Courtney Love's decision not to, or if he didn't really have any intention in, you know, having him part of the documentary. But he does say that he was not part of the documentary. Doesn't really tell on whose side that decision was made. But I thought that was interesting. I mean, I would like to hear his side of how things were before Kurt's passing and afterwards and all that. But it's a
Well, I just want to go ahead and put this out there. If Rivers is listening, you can go ahead and invite me and Keith to your home for a personal screening of
oh,
Nirvana's documentary.
definitely
So
that would be
I'm free that
yeah.
weekend. So if
I'm,
you want to go ahead and invite us, I'm up for it.
I'm sure I can free up my schedule for that. That's an exception for sure.
So the latest show that Weezer did was last week in Indy. Did you watch it when it was streaming live?
Yes, I did. I've watched it. Actually, I've watched it twice. Well, I watched the live stream and I've watched the YouTube video once or twice. Yeah.
Well,
So
I just think that I would just love it if they just did all shows streaming live. That was just really incredible because
yes.
it would save me on some plane tickets, but it was just really cool and seeing Scott and his shirt and the songs that they did, Pink Triangle and Hash Pipe. I think that they
Yeah.
really spoke a lot without having to make a scene about it. So that was
Um,
really cool. I really
yeah.
enjoyed.
I thought it was neat. Rivers and Brian doing go away together, doing
I
it.
I actually I was kind of like and Steve was listening in the background and he's like Brian does better than some of the girls that I've heard sing it. So
Uh,
I definitely think that should be a girl part, but it was cool to hear him, one time do that.
um, yeah, yeah, definitely. I also noticed a lot of the people out in California where he does them. I did notice that Rivers had posted another Nerd Night post on Facebook. I didn't really. I was away at the time and I didn't really get to look and see what he posted. But I guess did you have a chance to see that?
I didn't. So was that today?
Yeah, it was a couple of hours ago actually. I can see if I can pull it up and see what it says. But yeah, he had posted another
Uh,
Nerd Night.
tomorrow at 8 p.m. Mandy said.
There you go, Nerd Night tomorrow, 8 p.m. So yeah, you guys that are out there that are lucky enough to be a part of that, we'll have to get you guys on, join us, and tell us all about it. We like hearing about what's going on out there. Um, so yeah, that's pretty neat. But yeah, going back to the Indiana, I thought there was a lot of talk before the show about should they go and play in Indiana, and I think the guys really did it smart. The way
Yes.
that Scott did the shirt, the way that they got their point across, um, you know, in Weezer fashion. You don't have to make you don't have to speak with your mouth all the time. Though the shirt.
Exactly. I mean,
Like
they didn't have to say one statement.
exactly.
They let
Yeah.
the music and
Oh, and everybody knew without a doubt. I mean, loud and clear. You knew what they were doing it for, and
hmm
you got the message just by what they were doing.
I just
So
think that was just really cool. Proud, kind of like a double entendre. Proud Weezer fan, but I mean that really did. That was really awesome
yeah,
what they did. Well, we've got some guests with us joining us that are hanging out to talk with us today. So you want to go ahead and introduce them and bring them on?
yeah. Yeah, we are going to bring Mandy, and I'm trying to remember Mandy's last name, or if I can pronounce it. I think that's probably going to be my hardest. Um, but we've been doing a few Cards Against Humanity nights, things like that, and Mandy and her husband Bill have joined us, and they're part of the Weezer family. We like having them on, so we're going to bring Mandy on live to talk with us. And if I can just get her unmuted. I believe she is ready to go. Let's see if I can bring Mandy on here.
There she is.
Mandy, is your mic muted on your end or? Check and see if your mic might be muted on your. There we go. Are you there,
Hi,
Mandy?
can you hear me?
I can hear you. How do you pronounce your last name?
Kammermeyer.
Hammermeyer. Okay. And Bill is currently watching the Penguins game and playing video games. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, he's playing Guild Wars and watching the Penguins game.
So right now we are to believe that Guild Wars and Penguins game are more important than the Weezer podcast. That's what we're assuming.
You can tell which one of us is the Weezer fan, can't you?
So let's get the stuff that we've basically covered here recently, the Nerd Night and the Indiana shows. Anything you want to add to any of that? Were you able to see the Indiana show that they
I
did?
actually watched it with my camera on. That way, if they showed Lisa or anything like that, I could take a picture. And I
Mhm.
was actually watching for Callie Martin, too. I was watching to see if she made it up front.
Right. I'm trying to. I also one of you two may know right off the top of your head. I saw that they did a surprise show at an army base as well.
Yeah.
When was that? That was maybe
That was last
recently, I
night,
think.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it may have been yesterday. But Manny, talk to us. How did you get into Weezer? Where did it start for you?
I've been around Weezer since 1994. They used to play it on the radio around here all the time,
There you go.
and I picked it up really fast. And it was actually one of the bands I picked up on my own. I didn't have any outside influence or anything, so I feel like I actually own them, because I didn't have any influence on that one.
Right. So an original from '94.
Yeah, and we didn't have cable or anything like that, so I couldn't even see the video till like '99.
I know a lot of people talk about their first introduction to Weezer being, I believe, the Buddy Holly video on, I believe it was Windows 96 maybe or 94. And I was a fan back in 93, 94 as well, and I have never seen I guess the disc that you got when you first got Windows.
I think it's Windows 95.
Yeah, Windows 95, and I've never seen it. I've heard so many people talk about that's the first time that I know Marie that we had on, and a few other people that I've talked to. That's the first time that they had ever seen Weezer, and I have never seen it. I feel like I've left that part out of there when they first started. So do you and Bill get to very many shows during the year? How many shows?
We go to whatever ones are within 4 to 5, 6 hours from Pittsburgh. We
Right,
don't fly to none of them or nothing like that. But if they're close enough to Pittsburgh and they're on a weekend, then we definitely make sure we're at them.
right. So you all were at some of the U-Bait shows that they did on the East Coast.
Yep.
We were at Philly. We wanted to make sure we had a day to actually explore the town too, so we didn't make it to all of them. We just went to one specific one and then looked around while we were there.
Hmm. And how was that show?
That was pretty good. It was awesome.
Where was that show at? Jeff, were you at the Philly show?
Yeah, I was.
That's awesome.
Um,
That was at the
I don't remember
Trocadero.
what the venue was called. Yeah,
Was
the
it?
Tropicaro, and it was small. It was actually smaller than the Atlanta show. The venue. It was very similar
Mhm.
to the Tabernacle, but it was a little bit smaller. And I mean, it was just to be at the very first one. That was really, really cool.
Hmm.
It was a
So,
nice little theater feel to it too.
Yeah, had the balconies up top, like the Tabernacle did in Atlanta, but it was smaller. It was like maybe a little bit more than half, I guess.
and to me, I kind of like those little smaller, intimate kind of venues. Um, I've been to some of their larger shows as well. I'm trying to think if I've been to any festival shows, and I don't believe that I have. Thinking right off the top of my head, but all three of us being longtime Weezer fans, back when they first started, that's kind of how I was introduced to them in small venues. And even though I've seen them play at larger venues, Steph, like the one that we were at Municipal, even those, I still like the smaller venues. The one that we went to Atlanta, I like that. It seems a little more intimate.
Well, the U-Bait
Obviously,
shows, I felt like we were really with Weezer
Yeah,
like
yeah,
hardcore fans.
yeah.
Like it
With
felt
fans.
like
Yeah,
the fan club. Like when we were waiting in line for the first U8 show, the fan club line was way longer than the general admission. I mean, the fan club went around the building, and there was a few people I think that were there before some of the fan club members showed up, and I mean they totally. I mean, we got to go in first, so they were just out
right.
of luck. It kind
Yeah,
of sucked for them, but it was really cool. I mean, I knew like 50 to 100 people at that show.
right.
It's really cool.
That's what's really neat to me as this fan club grows and we go on further and further. The shows that we go to, it's like you were saying, Steph. When we're at the Atlanta show, you're standing in line, and it's not like this is not like concerts that I've been to in the past where it's I go to the concert with a group of friends and you're standing in line and you're basically keeping to yourself your little small group of friends that you're with. And when you go to a Weezer show now with the fan club, it's like everybody knows everybody or you recognize everybody and you're saying hello to so many people you already know and meeting people for the first time that you've only talked to like this online or just through the fan club on Facebook. So it's really neat. It
Yeah, it
doesn't.
is. Well, Mandy, what's your favorite song?
Um, Jamie. No doubt about that one,
Wow.
Jamie.
Is there a reason behind that, or it's just
It's just the one that grabs me. I've picked that one up like in '97 or so, and I just can't let it go by without going crazy and flipping out when it comes on. On the first cruise, it came on, and I almost fell off the balcony. I was going crazy about it.
do you have one thing in your Weezer collection, like that you've collected or whatever, that's really stuck out to you? A favorite shirt or.
But I like my Elvis Weezer shirt. It's my second copy. The first one just got worn to death, so I had to replace it. And now this one, it has everybody's signature except for Matt. And I'm going to hopefully do something about that in about a month and a half.
Do you know what what T-shirt she's referencing, Keith?
The Elvis one you're talking about, the one that has the tour bus on it, where you can see the back
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I had one of those, but unfortunately I've grown quite a bit and it doesn't fit like it
You can
used.
do what I did and turn my old T-shirts into a blanket. Did you see my blanket?
I
That I
have.
had? Yeah, because I had quite a few. I had shirts that I don't know who they were made for. They were made for like a 2-year-old, not a grown woman. Even when I was super skinny, they never fit me. So
I don't
they
know.
are in good use now. I cuddle with that blanket all the time.
For whatever reason, I didn't have the insight to keep a lot of the shirts, but like the Weezer 22 shirts that they had at the beginning, those shirts, stuff like that, I did not keep any of those. Concert shirts that I got from Radiohead or Stone Temple Pilots when I went to those shows when I was younger. And like I said, they would not fit me now, but I could at least have them around, like you said, to do something like that, or put them in a shadow box. My ticket stubs, none of that stuff. I didn't
Yeah.
keep any of it.
I only have about 10 shirts left now, but maybe 5 or 6 years ago when I lived in my mom's house, I had 25 shirts at the time, and that's not counting these 10 new ones I have now. But whenever my mom passed away, I had to get rid of the house so quickly that I lost like everything I had that was there. I had a giant Pinkerton promo poster. It was 4 feet wide, 6 feet tall. It was really nice. It was just something I couldn't save whenever I had to get rid of her house. And I had the black silk banner with the Weezer W and the
Mhm.
words on the top. I just lost so much stuff when I had to get rid of her house.
Wow.
Thanks. Yeah, I've always owned more Weezer T-shirts than I have any other. Like that's majority of my closet was Weezer T-shirts. So it was nice to put them. It was hard to part with them for like a month. To send them off to have somebody cut them up and stitch them together. But I was happy with the outcome. Well, you want to bring somebody else on?
Yeah, before I let Mandy go, let me ask, since I get so much heat from Stephanie and Michael, how was your experience on the cruises? You were on both cruises?
It's the best time I ever had.
I'm looking forward to it. I wish they would hurry up and announce it. I think Stephanie's badgering of me not being on the cruise will not stop until we make it onto the third cruise. So,
Yeah, we'll pretty much be there no matter what, unless I'm pregnant and can't go, something like that. Unless it's a medical emergency, I'll be there.
Awesome.
Well, good luck with your endeavors in becoming pregnant.
All right, Manny, I'm going to put you back on mute in just a second. We'll bring you back on. We're going to bring Callie on to talk to her as well. So let's get her on and see if we can get there. Callie, can you?
Hi.
Are you there?
Yeah.
All right.
Hi.
So you want to? Okay, let's see, Callie. And how do you pronounce your last name?
Abisonio.
Nice. And you are one of the younger Weezer fans, if I remember. You are 15, correct?
Yeah. The other Michael who's actually on right now, but he's not talking. He's younger than me, I think.
Okay.
He's 14.
Nice.
But
It is past your bedtime, young lady.
okay, I'm almost 16. Don't make fun of me.
and this, to be honest with you,
This makes me sad because I'm twice her age
Oh,
and
yeah.
then some.
I know. I'm not going to say I'm 3 times.
Three times.
It's close.
But
But
that's awesome.
yeah, this will be very interesting because it's a side of it that I don't get to see a lot, except for my own kids. But to me, that's a little bit different. Meeting someone that is a fan in the fan club and stuff that has come into it, past when they started. So how did you get into Weezer?
Well, first I just want to say I'm jealous of Mandy because, she's been with them basically ever since they first really started off. When I got into Weezer, basically I didn't get into them when I was little, but, my first song was Island in the Sun, and I loved it so much. So basically a couple years passed, and I was like, okay, so I'm going to download the Blue album. And then I listened to it, and then I downloaded basically their whole discography, and I was like, oh my god, I'm kind of in love.
That's cool. Have you got to see them live?
Yeah, I did see them live. I saw them at the Hard Rock, and it was a really fun time. Unfortunately, I was freaking out in the middle of it, so I had to go out during Surf Wax America, which was not fun, but I came back after that, and yeah, it was a really nice time.
That's awesome. Did you get to meet anybody in the band?
No, seriously, this is gonna sound so desperate. I've literally tried everything I could to get River's attention because
You sound like Keith right now.
I admire him so much. I think well, the whole band, they're all so talented, and Rivers is one of the most genius men in this world, I believe. His songwriting is just so amazing. But he hates me for some reason. Literally, it seems like everybody's talked to him except for me. Oh my god.
It will happen. It will happen.
Well, that reminds me of when the first time I got to go backstage when they played Cincinnati. This was a couple years ago. There was a girl that was not part of. It wasn't really a fan club back then, but Lisa Eubank had gotten a few of us backstage, and the girl wasn't part of it. She didn't have the pass to get backstage, but somebody in our group gave it to her, and she was young. She was, I want to say 18, but she might have been younger than that. I don't know for sure, but bless her heart, she was just shaking, you could physically see her shaking, and she didn't know what to do, and she was just, and Keith, you know how awkward that Rivers can be, and
yeah.
both of them together, it was almost like a car accident. You didn't want to.
That would probably be me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, actually, it happens. I mean, your first time meeting someone like that, it's quite understandable, and I'm sure he's used to it after all these years. But you just have to remember, he is a person just like you and me and everybody else. It is exciting, but to remain calm as possible will probably be the best thing for everybody. But it's completely understandable. I think Keith still freaks out a little bit.
Yeah, when I first was able to meet Rivers, when they were here for the memory shows in Nashville. You know, you spend so much time. I know, Stephanie, I'm sure you did. We've been fans for so long that I always kind of played that scenario out in my head. Like, if I ever uh, were able to meet him, what would I say? What would I ask him? What would I tell him? And you think of all those things, and then when it happens, I had told myself, like, I'm not going to freak out. I've been around musicians and stuff, just through my work and stuff, so I'll be okay as far as that goes. And then when they got out and he got close, yeah, it was not okay. I was a little freaked out. I was like, okay, something that I've thought about forever is now happening. Now, what am I going to do? And I was totally froze. I was able to talk to him, but it was nothing like I had envisioned. I was so nervous to just talk to him. And the second and third time I was able to meet him, I was a little more relaxed. I didn't try to get in there and crowd him and what I felt like I was bothering him. And I kind of stayed back and stayed out of the way. And it was able to collect my nerves, and it seemed like it went a lot better the second and third time than it did the first time. So it's totally understandable. I mean, somebody that you admire for so long, and when you finally get to meet them, it's a little nerve-wracking for sure.
And I've tried to crack jokes with him, but he just does not think I'm funny.
Wait, so since I'm new to the fan club, like, okay, so basically what happened is, like, I was like, I never knew, like, there was, like, a real fan club you could join because, I've been a Weezer fan for a while, whatever, but I found out, and I was like, oh my god, Mom, I have to join. Of course I had to use my mom's money to join it because, yeah, I don't have enough money for myself. So she was all pissed. She was like, Callie, it's a fan club. It's a fan club. Why do I have to spend $40 on it? And I was like, Mom, but you get all this cool stuff. You get to, like, exclusive chances to meet them, and you get, like, a whole family and everything like that. And she's like,
yeah, it comes
fine.
with the whole family.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope, like, I can, like, get something like a pass to meet them one time. But of course I can't go too far out of state because my mom's, like, bitchy about that. She's like, whenever I want to see, like, my favorite Japanese idols and they only come to, like, New York, she's like, no way, we're not doing that, even though we still live on the East Coast. So if Weezer comes, like, to Georgia, I guess that's the farthest she'll go.
Well, let me ask you this. Do your friends, like at school or just friends in general, do they give you a hard time for being a Weezer fan?
Oh, this is going to sound strange. Besides my online friends, I only have one friend in person. That's the way I like to keep it.
Well, that's good. I mean, you're in good company in the fan club.
Yeah, I know. But my friend, she casually listens to Weezer. She was the one that came with me to the Weezer concert, and she was the one that was like, oh no, we can't go there early because, like, she just likes being late to everything, even though I wanted to get there early. Speaking of the concert, so I was being a little bitch. Like, I kept trying to, like, squirm my way up, and the security guards were like, no, no, no. They kept sending me back, and I was like, but I just want to see Rivers, and they were like, no, no, no. So basically, it was my friend's fault because she didn't want to get there early.
So is Island in the Sun, is that your favorite song? I know.
No, it's not my favorite song.
Okay.
My favorite songs are tied. Hold Me because it makes me cry, and No One Else because, like, you know how the first album I heard was the Blue Album? That was the one song that instantly clicked with me, which is interesting because people say that's, like, the most poppy song on the album, but it's my favorite.
So No One Else and Hold Me. I really like Hold Me.
Yeah, Hold Me's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know where I got it from. It was a burnt cop, like a very early demo version of that song. Have you heard it?
Yeah, wasn't it on, like, I don't know if this was just a fan-made album or if it was, like, a real one. What, the acoustic album 5 demos?
It wasn't acoustic, but it was just very raw. Like, the lyrics weren't all together, put together. But I had that on a CD. I don't know, like a burnt CD. I don't know where it came from, but I used to rock out to that. And then when I finally heard it on the album, I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, oh my god. I'm seriously so jealous though that you've been a fan for so long, but hopefully when I grow older I can be like you guys and go on Weezer cruises and go to every concert and
like you guys. I like it.
Yeah. Well, You know, when if the my 15-year-old self, if they would have told me that I would have gotten to go on Weezer cruises and I would have met, the band and I would have met all these people, because when I was 15, I felt very alone in my Weezer-ness. There was a lot of the music then was Nirvana and grunge and Korn and you know um,
Yeah.
everything but Weezer. It wasn't very popular, so I was known for a long time as the Weezer girl, and kind of got picked on a little bit. And still, people that find me today, or I run into people, they're like, "You still into Weezer?" So, but you just to know that all this time's passed and I'm still in love with them, and it's brought so many wonderful people into my life. And I wish I had the fan. I was in the original fan club, but of course it wasn't anything like this, where the interaction you have. I wish I had that at 15. So you're in good company.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think I do really feel like I'm in good company, and I think it would be so cool like if I went to a concert. Although I don't think any of you like live near Florida, right?
No, me and Keith are in Tennessee.
We're not too far away.
No, we'll come to Florida for concerts.
Yeah, because like it would be so cool if I met like any of you, even though you probably wouldn't recognize me since I just use like Japanese idols photos because I don't really post selfies that often. But
I think you're the only 15-year-old girl that doesn't.
yeah, I know.
We can
Well, we'll
we
we'll
can come
meet
to
one day,
yeah,
and
we
I'm
can come to
sure.
Florida. We can do something foreign to you, and that's drive. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
uh,
My mom would probably be like, "Oh, like
Who's these
why,
old
why are you
people?
hanging out with these people that are so much older than you?" And I would be like, "Because they're my friends." And she'd be
Well,
like, "You're such a weirdo."
it
okay.
it was very nice chatting with you, and we'll have you back on in a second. And I think we're going to talk to Michael now.
Yeah, we're going to try to bring Michael on. So, Callie, we're going to mute you and talk to Michael a little bit, and we'll have you back on shortly as well.
So just
Okay,
stay
thank
with
you.
us.
All right, so let's see if Michael can unmute himself. He should be on there, Michael. If you see the little down arrow on your name, if you
I
click
think
that.
he's shy, but being
I know.
on a podcast is not for shy people.
Let's see. Okay, he says he needs about 10 to 15 minutes. So let me bring. Actually, let's bring Mandy. I know she's back, and Callie back for a minute, and let me bring them back on. If you can unmute yourself, Mandy, and Kai and Callie as well. Let me see. I don't have her muted, so she should be good.
Okay,
Callie, you're there, yes?
Yeah.
All right, and Mandy, you're there as well?
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys an album that we actually don't talk a whole lot about. The newest one. How do you guys? What's your thoughts on Ubate? Everything will be all right in the end. What song is your favorite? What do you like on there, Mandy? You can go first. Go ahead.
It's really easy to listen to. You can just sit down and listen to it straight through, where other ones you might want to skip around sometimes, but this one's really easy, really smooth, and I just can't get past Lonely Girl without going crazy over that one too. I remember at Philly show, as soon as they got to the part, he's like, "I know you're scared." The whole room went silent, and I screamed out loud. I remember Scott pointing up at me
So "Lonely Girl" is
yeah,
your song on
for
Ubate.
that one. Yeah.
Let's go off the rails a little bit. What would you say if you had to pick a least favorite? Not that you don't like it, but it might be the one that if you were going to get close to maybe skipping past one, where do you go? Everybody's got one. We all love every Weezer song, but some of
Are you
them
talking about just on this album, or
just
just
on, yeah, just on you, babe.
mine would be Lonely Girl. Sorry, Mandy.
Grrr,
Oh,
grrr.
okay.
That to me,
Yeah,
and we've said it before on the show, but to me, that is the least song that belongs on this album. I think that's like reminds me of like a Green Album song, but
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's bad or anything. It's just
controversy. I like
I love it. Controversy.
it.
So that's my least favorite. What
Right.
about you, Keith?
I don't want to be thrown under the bus so early. Mandy, where do you fall as far as
When when we were getting the little tiny clips, the teasers at the very beginning, I really didn't think I was gonna like I've had it up to here. But now that But
What?
now that we're all hearing all the songs, really the only ones I'm skipping over are Back to the Shack and Cleopatra, just because they were out so much longer. So in my head, they're already overplayed, so I just skip over those.
Right.
I would have to agree
Callie.
on Back to the
Not
Shack.
not over dislike, just because I've heard them too many
Right.
times already.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. Okay, Callie, your favorite and your least favorite.
Okay, so my favorite is I've had it up to here.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it's so funky and cool, and I just love it. Oh my God. And I also really like Foolish Father because it's a really cool, like, epic ending to, like, the main songs. Um, and then my least favorite, don't kill me, is Ain't Got Nobody. I don't know. I think the hook is really annoying. Is that bad to say?
It's not. It's honest.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, my second least favorite would have to be Cleopatra, just because I think, even though this was done intentionally, I think, like, the beat of, like, the beginning of the chorus is a little awkward to listen to, and it, like, annoys me.
Yeah. So, if I'm being honest, mine are going to fall pretty much in line with some of you guys. I've had it up to here is probably my favorite off of the album, and to me, it wasn't really because it was overplayed for whatever reason. Um, Coming out of, and I'm trying to think of what is right before it, and I think "Go Away" is right before Cleopatra, and I like the feel of "Go Away." It's kind of an upbeat duet song. I really like how it sounds, and for whatever reason, Cleopatra seems to bring all that excitement down for me in the album. And I believe right after it is Foolish Father, which is kind of back up. But for me, it's Cleopatra. For whatever reason, I didn't gravitate towards that song when I first heard the album all the way through. So yeah, it's probably Cleopatra for me.
Wait, I totally forgot about Go Away. Holy crap. That's definitely my least favorite.
Go Away is okay.
Yeah, because I totally forgot that one. Because I don't know, I don't dig the duet stuff. I'm sorry. Plus, I think that it was simpler songwriting compared to some of the other stuff on the album, and I like deeper stuff. I don't know.
Off the top of our heads, like what are some of the duets that they've done that have been like, what would you feel has been really strong? I mean, would you say, I mean, he sings along on "I Just Threw Out the Love of My Dreams." I would say that's probably on up there for most of us. Yes or no? I mean, I really like "I Just Threw Out the Love of My Dreams."
Yeah, definitely. No, I think that one's like a lot better than Go Away. Like, Go Away is like, I'm sorry, Rivers, I just really don't like that song.
What other ones are out there, Steph? Just thinking. I mean, obviously a lot of some of the Red Album stuff with "Can't Stop Partying," and I know that's one of Michael's favorites.
Can't Stop Partying is a no-no for me. Sorry. I don't like Red Album, period. I'm being too honest.
Now,
The only song I really love off Red Album is The Greatest Man That Ever Lived, just 'cause it's genius, you know.
And Miss Sweeney, you gotta like Miss Sweeney.
Nope, sorry.
Oh,
oh no, we got to get rid of her now.
and Pig is on there as well. So it's got some jazz, but like you said, like you said, everybody's opinion is different. Some of
Yeah.
us gravitate.
And it's very
towards these
interesting to
songs.
hear other people's
Oh
opinions,
yeah, oh yeah, and all of us are
especially
gonna.
when they're coming from like a fan and not just some I heard them on the radio
Right, yeah.
person. So even if I don't agree, I respect everybody's opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, so many of these songs resonate with us, and some of these songs take you to a certain place or remind you of a certain time in
Yeah.
your life, and that's why a lot of these songs you end up gravitating towards more than others.
Definitely. Definitely. So I have a question for all of you.
Okay.
So
Hey, I like questions. This is something we don't get very often, so fire
on the
away.
topic of favorite and least favorite Weezer album.
That is really hard.
That is really hard.
My
I don't-
least favorite's definitely Hurley. I skip almost
Really?
half the album when I listen to that one.
Yeah,
Really?
Harley would probably be my least favorite. album, followed by Ratitude.
Gratitude's definitely down there for me. Red Album's my least favorite, though.
I like Gratitude. It spins in my car almost as much as Blue.
I had to play it. 'Cause I feel like I get out of touch if I don't listen, sometimes to those. So I had to play Ratitude. Had to put it in the CD player for a while, but I don't know if I can do a favorite album because
The thing is,
I go by which one I listen to the most, and Blue Album is just like the go-to album. I can just keep it in my car. If there's nothing else, I can just throw that in real quick,
I would have to say probably Pinkerton would be my go-to. Even
Yeah,
that
to me, it's kind of a situational thing. Like if I had to pick least favorite, I would go Ratitude. But
right,
if I'm going like favorite, if I want something that's like, if I'm in the mood to like, for nostalgic reasons, for like where it began, I'm going Blue Album. If I want to hear over the top guitar solos and just crazy drum fills and stuff, I'm gonna go Pinkerton. It's definitely Blue or Pinkerton, but it's just kind of how you're feeling at that particular time. I probably lean just a little more Blue for the nostalgia reasons, and that being where it began. But you really can't go wrong with either one of those two.
so something that, because I don't hear the Green Album being talked about that much, but something about it that I think is like, I like it at times, but sometimes I think it's just like so bland because um, it. I like how their albums have themes, but I feel like the songs in Green Album are all way too similar to each other. Like, is it just me that thinks that?
I agree with that. I do feel like they do all have a very similar vibe to them. I think Maladroit seems to have a very similar vibe to them too.
Yeah.
But I really like the Green Album, and
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say I like both the Green Album and Maladroit, but I don't typically like to just listen to one song off those albums. I like to listen to the whole album if I'm in a Green or a Maladroit state of mind.
If I was to add something to that, to me, as far as the Green Album goes, and Mandy and Stephanie, I'm sure you can relate to this. After Pinkerton, and we talk about this so much, and I hate to continue to bring it up, but after Pinkerton, with the media and how they really ran down Pinkerton, and when Rivers, kind of stepped away for a while, to me, I don't know if everyone felt this, but to me, there were those years where we were really unsure about where the band was. Were they done? Were they going to do something else? And then when they came back out, and I can't remember if it was the Warped Tour or whatever they did when they first came back out, when we heard there was a Green Album, to me, to be honest, I didn't care what it sounded like. I was just excited that the band that I liked so much wasn't gone. And when I heard Green Album, I was like, okay, there are catchy songs on there. It was pop friendly. It was Billboard chart friendly, and it suited me because I was just happy that they made another album, that they weren't calling it quits. So to me, even though I don't hate the Green Album, I don't love it. I'm fine with the Green Album. To me, it's kind of that. Thank goodness they're not done. And for someone like Callie, I understand. Like you
weren't born at
you weren't even
born at that point.
I was born in '99.
Oh, okay.
So you were an infant. So you
don't understand.
Yeah, that's hard
the horrors that we went through.
Situation, but that to me is why I kind of am okay with the Green Album, because it reinforced that it wasn't over. They were still making music. They were still enjoying it. So I'm fine with the Green Album.
With the Green Album, besides Island in the Sun, because that's an obvious choice. Like, I love that song so much. My favorite would probably have to be Glorious Day. I don't know. I think it's so pretty. Ugh, I love that song.
Mine is probably Smile.
Oh, really?
Especially if you're just raged.
That's not all right. So let's bring Michael. I believe Michael is ready now, so we can bring Michael on and talk to him a little bit. See, Michael, can you unmute yourself? Are you there, Michael?
Check 1, 2.
It shows you're unmuted. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Check, check.
He's real quiet. I heard a check.
Yeah, you're really quiet. See if you can bring up the volume or stick the mic directly in your mouth.
The jokes are supposed to be from me. Keith.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, hey,
Is that better?
A
little better.
tiny little bit.
Little better. Still quiet.
Don't forget about Necros. Necros are still OP.
He's muted again, and I can hear Bill in the background. Manny,
I can
what
hear
is,
Bill louder than I can Michael.
what's
So they can hear you.
People on fire can hear you.
what's Bill's favorite song?
Billy, what's your favorite Weezer song? He likes The Good Life, I think.
Really? Okay. Pinkerton track. I like that. That was I believe The Good Life may have been the first song that I learned how to play off of Pinkerton. Pretty easy.
I wish I could play the guitar. It would be so cool.
Yeah,
Like, my uncle got me an electric guitar. Like, he always spends a lot of money on gifts for me, and they're always gifts I don't want. Like, I tell him, okay, I just want a CD, and then he goes and gets me an electric guitar, and I'm like, but I don't know how to play. Oh my god. But yeah, it would be so cool to be able to compose my own stuff. Sorry, that was really random.
now you said that your mom normally travels with you if you go to a show.
Yeah.
Does she enjoy Weezer as well? Is she a fan, or she does it because you're a fan? What's the
Well, she knows the basic stuff. Like, she knows Blue Album, and when we were listening to everything, like the CD of Everything Will Be Alright in the car, she, like, Da Vinci and The British Are Coming came on, and she was like, oh, I know these songs, and she was singing along, yet she didn't know Back to the Shack. I was like, how do you know those two and not Back to the Shack? And she's like, I don't know.
My mom liked Weezer too. I remember there was a couple shows that she would always go with us to, but then there was a couple we had to skip her and not take her, and I remember she was feeling bad about those ones.
Aw.
She was actually the reason I joined Facebook and Twitter, like 2010. She was actually on there talking to Scott in Twitter before I even knew it existed.
my dad, who has passed away a few years ago. He was he was just a music lover in general, but me being a Weezer fan, he listened to a lot of stuff, and oddly enough, my when Napster and Rhapsody and all that stuff used to be out with music file sharing, stealing, whatever you want to call it, we had downloaded just about everything that Weezer had up to that point into his library. And Stephanie, I'm going to give you a guess. I know what my dad's favorite song was of Weezer, and it's very odd, but I'm going to give you a guess. If you can, it will shock you. It's kind of a curveball, but I remember we had
Hash pipe.
No, he liked Always.
Okay.
That song, and like I came home and he had downloaded, and he was like, "What CD is this song on?" I was like, "Okay, that's a B-side song," but he would play Always over and over. He just, for whatever reason, he loved the lyrics. He loved that song. It's kind of an odd one to throw out as your favorite song, but you know, like I said, it's different for everyone.
I've got a funny. When I was growing up, my aunt, my mom and my aunt are. My mom had me kind of late in life, so my aunt was fairly old. But anyways, when I was younger, like for Christmas and my birthday, she would get me a weasel, like figurines, or you guys probably seen it, the ball at Cracker Barrel that has like the raccoon tail, you know, and it flips around. And she'd always get me something weasel related. And I never said anything at first, you know, like a couple years went by and I would get it like a little figurine for Christmas or a stuffed weasel or something. And finally I was like, why do you always get me weasel stuff? And she's like, well, I know how you like the weasels. And I'm like, what? is she talking about? And my mom's like, I think she means Weezer, but she thought it was the Weasels.
Oh my god, that's so
No.
cute.
Yeah, so I have a nice extensive weasel collection.
That's funny.
All people can be so cute sometimes.
Yes, definitely.
Something that I'm hoping that I'm kind of excited about that hopefully I'm going to turn the corner on just to call him out because he is a new listener to the podcast show. But my brother-in-law, who is not on Facebook, he uses it through my sister-in-law. But Chris, my brother-in-law, who has been I would say, part of the enemy army against Weezer for quite some time. He is a big Stain fan, Aaron
I was
Lewis.
gonna say he must be a Nickelback fan.
Oh no, they're huge into Stain, Aaron Lewis. They travel around to see him as well, which I don't have anything against. But since for the longest time, both of my brother-in-laws have been totally against Weezer, so I take it upon myself to defend them and go at it with whoever they enjoy listening to. But I'm excited to say that he has listened to all of our podcasts so far, and hopefully we're going to convert him and my sister-in-law Jennifer into Weezer fans. They've already talked about if there's a cruise because they
One of us.
Yeah.
One of us.
One of us.
We're gonna convert them. It's gonna happen.
Bill's sister's already said she's going with us on the next cruise.
Awesome.
Yeah, I kind of forced them into to promising to go on the next cruise with us as well. So we'll.
I'm telling you, if they go on a cruise, they're gonna be hooked.
Yeah, for sure.
Cruise is a life changer.
All right, so I guess Michael is still having issues with that. So I guess if you want to, we can wrap this episode up and get into some Cards Against Humanity with some of our friends that we have here.
Yay.
Anything else, Steph, that you want to add before we?
Well, I just want to say thank you, ladies, for joining us. It was a lot of fun to get some different perspective.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. And we'll have more of these in the future. Hopefully we'll get more interaction as this becomes easier for us to do. Still kind of working out some of the problems that we run into as far as doing it live. But to me, it just adds a little different kind of spin on the show. Instead of just downloading it, we're able to get some of you on live, interact with you while we're doing the show, and bring you on and talk to you like we did with Mandy and Callie tonight. So we appreciate you guys joining us.
No problem. Thank you.
And we'll talk to you guys next week.
And
Thanks for having us.
And to end the show, I need to also announce we have finally concluded our Bracket A challenge.
We almost forgot about the bracket.
Yes, I wanted to end with that. We have finally finished our Bracket A challenge, and I'll have the next bracket going up. We'll say probably I'll make a post on the fan club, and we'll have it up tomorrow. But the winner of
Wait, drum roll.
the winner of the first bracket with a 21-9 margin was Nirvana. Yeah.
Oh, it smells like Teen Spirit in here.
I kind of foreshadowed that. I thought that I was kind of interested to see who the final was. I know Amanda pushed so hard for Jeff Buckley to upset the first bracket, but Nirvana pulled it out over the Foo Fighters in the last matchup of Bracket A. So they are our Bracket A winners, and we'll have Bracket B going up either tomorrow or Monday, whenever we get this podcast out, and we can start doing that. We'll have a bracket tree so you can see matchups and who they'll move on against, a little bit more of a visual so you can tell what's going on. And we'll have that up, and everybody please keep voting. Keep getting the podcast out there. We appreciate everybody that joins us, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.